All right, we're on that fast countdown tonight. Mike Draco sliding in here. Cincinnati represented. What's up, everybody? It's Chris from Cycle Source Magazine. We are firing up the engines and getting ready for another episode of Shop Talk. Going to be a great one tonight. We got some tech. We got a killer feature bike. And the story about how yours truly got to sit on $1 million motorcycle today. Made one of my dreams come true. 2 minutes and we're going live with this one. Greg White in the house. What's up, buddy? Shop Talk going live in 2 minutes. Get ready, grab a drink, kick back, and relax. We're going live. Well, my studio mic was out of hand there for a minute. I'm like, why is everything so loud? John DeVries, what's up, Galveston, Texas? Man, we were just down there. What a good time. What a fantastic town. Absolutely love Galveston. I'm missing it already. The original Mexican joint is my spot down there. David Crum from New Jersey in the house. Good to see you here, man. Hey, everybody. Great to have all you with us. And seriously, we want you to be involved in the show. So wherever you're watching from Facebook, from YouTube, all of our partners in Shop Talk land, all you have to do is throw your comments, questions, or concerns up wherever you're watching, and we'll get them in the comment box and try to get to them throughout the show. 1 minute and we're going live with this one. Rob Doer from Pawleys Island here. Wanda Brashear, hello from Arizona. Ashley Woodford in the house. Just had the pleasure of reading an article about Bonneville with you guys. Fantastic. One man. Let us rock on. Good to see you here, one man. Michael Mad Dog Lothorpe had a great rally at the Lone Star. We did too, man. Thanks so much to the Lone Star people for making that happen. I know this was their first event back after the long COVID break, and man, it was worth the wait. It was worth the wait. Look, man, we're under the 20-second mark. It's time to get this one out of the station and up onto the tracks. Let's go live with this week's installment of Shop Talk. Here we go. Okay, scooter tramps and chopper jockeys all across the land. It is 9 p.m. exactly on the East Coast. That's not currently where we're at, but it's 9 p.m. there anyway. And that means it's time for another episode of Shop Talk. I'm your host, Chris Callen with Cycle Source Magazine, coming to you live from the Cycle Source mobile studio, sitting in Lago Vista, Texas. Just watched the sun come down over Lake Travis. Beautiful, beautiful 70-degree day today. I got to do motorcycle stuff all day long. It was a blast, and I don't care who at home is hating on me for that, because it was awesome. We got a break today. Coming to you live from the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio. Dennis Kirk, if you need it quick, you better get it from Dennis Kirk. And I'm joined tonight with my crew. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing this week?
Hey. I'm actually trying to not fall over in my seat in the mobile studio today.
Mobile studio is a little crooked tonight. Little crooked.
It's going to be a good core.
Well, didn't you have that problem? Didn't you have that problem last time? Wasn't Heather sliding across the floor?
Yeah. Little full. A lot of sap. Oh man. So Mark, I got to sit on $1 million motorcycle today.
I know. Did you wear dirty pants at least?
I didn't. Listen, I was so careful on it. I didn't know what to do. I was nervous. I've never been so nervous on a motorcycle. And that includes some of the crazy shit that we bolted together.
The best part when he was like, you're going to take it for a ride, and you're like, no.
No. Sorry.
Hard pass.
Double R. No.
Yeah. Double R.
See, I snuck that one in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but
that's a cool looking bike though, boy. That thing is nice. I guess $1 million it better be.
Right. We had the pleasure of hanging out with Steve Klein today, and anyone that's familiar with Steve or his collection of incredible motorcycles, we just went bike after bike after bike, and man, the stories I think are the best thing, because it's one thing to walk through a museum, and even if you read some cool shit on the wall, it's another thing to have somebody that's equally as enthralled with the passion of motorcycling, the history, and tells you some of the personal stuff about, like I learned stuff about Merkel today. I learned stuff about Reading Standard that makes me super proud, like of this Pennsylvania company, and I learned stuff about their motorcycles, and it was just a really, really good day. I want to give a big thanks to Steve Klein for having us today.
It was awesome.
Yeah, that must have been pretty cool. And I hear that you did all this in his living room.
Yeah.
He has an amazing living room.
Yeah.
Just saying. If
it didn't have a stick of furniture in it, would be amazing, because it's motorcycles from one end to the other, and they're all like stupid rare bikes, right? That's all right, man. Well, listen, we're gonna get the show started because we got some great stuff to get through tonight. Like I said, this is Shop Talk. We go live with this every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern through the courtesy of Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio. If this is your first time tuning in, really appreciate you being here. This is a program that we do for the two-wheeled world, specifically the V-twin custom industry in the United States. And we bring you some information, some entertainment. We start the whole thing off every week with a little segment we call the news. First up in the news tonight, totally amazing. Vietnam War veteran, cancer survivor reunited with motorcycle after 3 years. On Friday nights, the Lawrenceburg Motorcycle Speedway comes alive. The smell of exhaust fills the air. Bleachers vibrate from the deafening roar of motors revving as motorcyclists of all ages line up to compete in a high-adrenaline, high-risk race around smooth dirt track. These are the nights that James Prosipo lives for. The 74-year-old Vietnam War veteran started racing motorcycles in his 20s, but had to give it up after family and life got in the way. Prosipo says when he was diagnosed with colon cancer in 2011, needed surgery to remove his intestines. He returned to the racetrack about 4 years ago after receiving his final chemotherapy treatment. Right on, man. So starting the news off tonight with a feel-good story. Prosipo worked for 2 years fixing up a red and white and blue 1980 Honda XR 500 to get it in racing form. Was only able to race the bike once before it was stolen, along with his pickup truck from his apartment in Mount Healthy. The truck was recovered not long after it was stolen, but the bike was gone. Every spare dime went into that bike, he said. Heather, please tell me that this pulls out good.
It does. Keep reading, I promise.
It was through his part-time mechanic work that Prosipo met Ben Groh, who's since become a good friend and racing partner. In the past 3 years since Prosipo's bike was stolen, Groh had been working to track down the missing bike on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. It popped up here and there for the past 3 years, Groh said. I've seen it come and go. I've been close to getting it, and it slipped through the cracks. Groh's brother spotted the bike at a local body shop along with Rick Brune, another close friend of Prosipo's and fellow racer, were able to set up an undercover buy with the Cincinnati police and retrieve the bike. It was returned to Prosipo early last month. All right.
How awesome is that?
There you go. You had me there for a minute. I was like, what? This was supposed to be, this was titled Feel Good Story.
I know. You just had to get through the BS.
Congratulations to him, and a big kudos to his friend for sticking with it, man, and getting that cat's bike back. Buffalo Chip in the news.
Everybody loves a happy ending, just to let you know.
It depends. It depends. With prices on everything the way they are today, you can't, it's kind of, sometimes you get a mediocre ending. I'm just saying. Yeah, but that's a different program. Back to the news. Sturgis Buffalo Chip raises record amount for charity through 2021 events. The Sturgis Buffalo Chip has raised a record amount of money as a result of the generosity and donations of motorcyclists around the country. Sturgis Buffalo Chip charity events raised a whopping amount of over $477,000 for all charities benefiting children, veterans, and local community, and they did it all during the 81st Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. Sturgis in general is a very charitable event, but the Buffalo Chip in specific is no new kid in town when it comes to raising money, and this is another banner year and a long, long list of the charitable donations that they make, and our hats go off to Woody and everybody at the Chip.
Absolutely. And I have to say, in general, and I try not to stereotype and lump people together, but motorcyclists are some of the most generous groups and people out there. There's not many I don't know that wouldn't give you the shirt off their back.
And isn't it funny that you hear all the shitty stuff that goes on out there, but you rarely hear about all the money that all these people and organizations raise during just that bike event.
Oh, absolutely.
Go ahead.
Never mind. It was totally a smart ass thing I was going to say, and I was just like, I'm just going to let it go.
But she was going to listen.
I'm going to let it go.
She was going there again, Mark, where she talks about how they're not disciples or 12 losers that hang out with you.
I was going to go back to my
Nobody
the
has a
shirt off
job.
their back thing. Usually the ones that will give you the shirt off their back are the ones you want to keep the damn shirt on. Just saying.
Well, we feel the same way about the girls that show up with very little on.
Amen.
So it's give and take.
Back to the news.
Give and take.
Fonzie's Custom Triumph. Now, we reported on this the other day on Torque, and if you guys were watching that, I apologize for doing it twice, but we have to talk about this. So Fonzie's Custom Triumph motorcycle from Happy Days to be auctioned off. And blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Fonzie, Triumph, Fonzie. But the deal is, Fonzie's real motorcycle was a knucklehead.
They told him he couldn't ride it, though, right?
They decided in a PR calculation that it was more palatable for Fonzie to be on this Triumph than it was on this knucklehead.
Wah, wah.
Dummies.
Is it friendlier?
Apparently it's more PC to be on a Triumph than it is a knucklehead, which I don't know. I don't get. They changed his jacket too, which how can a jacket be offensive?
Poppy said he couldn't ride it.
Yeah, I know. Steve Burrows with the dirt. All right. Hey, another piece in the news. WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, celebrating 65 years, dude, in 2022. How about that? When the green flag waved on November 9th, 1957 for the 8th annual Pebble Beach Road Race, those in attendance had no idea that the freshly paved racetrack quickly carved into the hills of the U.S. Army's Fort Ord would evolve into WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca and become a world-renowned road course with legendary status. 64 years later, the race circuit remains the heartbeat of Monterey County's Laguna Seca recreation area. Big deal. We're getting old, dude. That's what that comes down to.
Oh. Yes, sir.
Right.
Quickly.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, listen, we got a ton of stuff to get through, and I think to back up my little story leading off tonight with getting to sit on $1 million motorcycle, we're actually going to take you guys into the shop of Mr. Steve Klein, and we're going to take a look at that motorcycle with a little out of focus feature. Stick around. On the other side, we're going to get into some more of this.
Good evening, Shop Talk viewers. My name is Steve Klein. I am owner of Sierra Madre Motorcycle Company.com. Tonight's episode, we want to talk to you about the last Crocker ever built. Albert Crocker had a remarkable career in the motorcycle industry that started in the early 1900s, 1909 to 1911. He raced Thor motorcycles on dirt tracks and on board tracks. Crocker went to college, became an engineer. He had a short stint. He owned a couple of Indian motorcycle dealerships, one in Dodge City, Kansas, and then he moved his young bride back to California and opened up a dealership in Los Angeles area. Indian had a close relationship with Al Crocker from the early teens when Hendy Manufacturing or Headstrom Manufacturing, the Hendy Indian motorcycle brand, originated, and they tried to get Al Crocker to race for him, but he had his own interests that he wanted to follow in life. He became an engineer. He had a couple of Indian dealerships to provide an income for his family. But in the 1930s, he developed his own motorcycle. It was a speedway racer. He eventually engineered and built his own speedway motor, and over a period of a short couple of years, owned every racetrack in speedway racing in the United States. In 1936, Al Crocker introduced this motorcycle. The first version had a small gas tank, hence you'll You hear people talk small tank Crocker or big tank. Everything Crocker did had to be to extremely high standards of strength and durability, and that came from his racing and his engineering background. He developed a single down tube frame. The diameter of this tube is quite large. If you look at the height and the strength of the neck here, compare that to, say, a Harley Knucklehead of the same period or an Indian, significantly stronger. He developed his own girder front end. The motor is his own design. The first 25 Crockers built had hemispherical heads. These are the later head design. There are very few Hemi heads left in the world today. The bolt pattern on them and the fact that these cast iron jugs were such thick walled, they generated a lot of heat. And when people ran the motorcycles and raced them hard, they cracked the Hemi heads between the bolts. They came from the factory, 61 cubic inches, and they ran like 110 mile an hour, which was a full 10 mile an hour faster than Harley, and certainly faster than the old flathead side valve Indians of the same period. The Crocker motorcycle today is really one of the rarest, most expensive machines in the world. It's been called the Duesenberg of American motorcycles. Crockers were built from 1936 to 1942 only. There are either 70 or 71 Crockers have ever been built from 36 to 42. Today, there are 47 in the Crocker registry that remain, which is why they're so valuable today. Production numbers were very small, and surviving numbers are even smaller. Of the 47 that remain, 41 are documented as riding motorcycles. This is one of them. And the motorcycle was painstakingly restored by Steve Hunsinger about seven and a half years ago. I have started and ridden this motorcycle a couple of times, and trust me, it is not 61 cubic inch. In the 60s, you could buy machines like this for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. By the late 80s, early 90s, $75,000, $80,000 to $90,000 if you could find one. I've watched these machines climb to 150, 250. About 20 years ago, they seemed to kind of level off about 325, 350. Then they crossed the $500,000 mark. The last three that have sold at auctions have gone anywhere from $775,000 to $825,000. This machine is currently available worldwide. The asking price is $1 million. And that is a good, solid investment for the last Crocker ever built and the nicest Crocker available. Hey, this is Steve Klein with Sierra Madre Motorcycle Company, and you're watching Shop Talk.
Everything we do at the track shapes what we build for the street and the dirt.
You can see how bad these guys want it. A race to the line.
For us, racing is not for the trophies or the glory. We compete because it makes everything we do faster, more durable, and tested to a higher standard. For S&S, racing is the ultimate in proven performance, and we've been proving it since 1958.
Hey, this is Chris with Cycle Source Magazine. I'm in the garage today working on the Dennis Kirk garage build FXR Evolution. What is that? It's a performance-based FXR that we're going to build throughout the year. At the end, you're going to have a chance to win it at Sturgis. Go to DennisKirkGarageBuild.com for more information, and stay tuned to see how this thing comes together.
This is Rick from RKB, and you're watching Shop Talk.
We're the Law Tigers, America's motorcycle lawyers. We understand the challenges riders face every day. As riders, we want to share the road and be seen by motorists. Remaining visible is critical to our safety and well-being. That's why we work tirelessly to promote motorcycle safety and awareness. We're proud to support our community that includes riders of all stripes. If you've been injured in a motorcycle accident, call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS or visit lawtigers.com. The Law Tigers, America's motorcycle lawyers.
All right, man. Again, welcome back to Shop Talk, Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio. I'm your host, Chris Callan, and big thanks to Steve Klein for taking the time with us today. Mark, here's the thing about it. That was one motorcycle. Heather, how many bikes did we get through today?
Oh, 6 or 7, I think.
Yeah. And just every one of them. Like, we did a whole feature on the Merkel. There was another Merkel, so obviously that was a recreation of the only existing Merkel board track racer. There was a fully restored, like, original Merkel. We saw 2 Indians, a single and a twin that were both original paint. Like, just amazing, man. We spent the whole day looking at these incredible bikes, and we're going to bring them all to you guys. Actually doing in an upcoming issue or episode of Shop Talk, we're going to be doing a What's in Your Garage with Steve, where we just go through all these bikes. So, and
it was so great because he really knew the history on them all, and we got an education today.
Yeah.
And it was such a nice treat because so many people have never and will never be able to see those similar motorcycles in person. So it was really quite an honor to be able to do that today.
Yep. So
if you have that kind of a collection, you have to have that kind of education on them, you know?
Oh, and he does too, man. I mean, he's one of those guys that, you know, yeah. Most of the joy in having the bikes for him, like, you get some guys that the buying and selling is the crux of it for them, you know? And Steve is one of those guys, like, he likes to know every story. I mean, he was telling us, I forget which exact bike it was. It may have been the Crocker, like when he was talking about the restoration, that the guy actually took each bolt and didn't put, like, you know, primary bolts in a baggie. He put each primary bolt, numbered which position it was in, so that each bolt even went back to the exact spot that it came from. Like,
it wasn't actually the primary bolt. It was every bolt on the motorcycle went in its own bag, and it was marked where it went.
Yeah. So it's cool. It's cool to have, you know, that much respect for the history of these things. But hey, speaking of the respect for history, I don't know if you remember this or not, Mark, but a few weeks, maybe months ago, some of the guys like Rob Nussbaum and, you know, the guys from the vintage community started talking about how it looked like competition distributing might be going out of business.
Yeah, I do remember that, yeah.
Now, you know, the more we spend time around stuff like the Chase and the Cannonball and, you know, the Sons of Speed racing, the more you start to understand, like, especially with things like Sons of Speed and Race of Gentlemen stuff, these are very, very fragile environments, very fragile events, because it only takes one or two guys or one parts company that services stuff like this, and all of a sudden these things become impossible. Yeah. You know, they exist on such an eggshell kind of existence to begin with, that something like that happens and, you know, it pulls the rug out from underneath everybody. So we started hearing that it was a major drag, and actually one of our hometown boys, Pittsburgh native Tom Banks, jumped into action, and he's here tonight with some news that competition distribution is not going anywhere, and we're going to go to the airways and bring him on the show and see what's up. Tom, what's up?
Hey guys, what's happening? Thanks for having me on.
This is Mark, the craziest knucklehead, flathead rider, the single rider, like in the name.
Keep in mind, it's a hometown boy too.
That's right. In the name of sportsmanship, he'll blow up a motor. He'll blow up a motor.
He inadvertently tried to kill me on the Chase.
Before he's second, he will blow some shit up. I'm telling you right now. That's my boy.
Keeping it real.
So
I like to have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Plus, I'm not the mechanic. I have guys that fix the motors.
They must love you, Tom. They're like, really? Again? Do you know how hard those parts are to find? Come on, Tom.
I don't know. Sean and George spent a lot of late nights on the Cannonball. I'm not so sure they loved me as I was blowing things up out there, but I did have a good time.
Buddy, they did. So, Tom, for everybody in the audience that might not recognize Tom, his Banks Brothers motorcycle lift received Cycle Source Shop Product of the Year 2 years ago. Incredible part there, incredible enthusiast, fantastic collection of motorcycles, probably one of the most complete collections of original paint panheads. Am I saying that right?
Well, we got a pretty good. We're getting there. We're not the best.
And working on a pretty decent one of original paint knuckleheads too as you go.
I really, I love the panheads and the knuckleheads, of course, and the flatheads, and everything Harley, really.
But longtime supporter of the Motorcycle Cannonball, of the Chase. Tom is a very, very big force in both of those events, and just recently, Mark,
soon to be Sons of Speed.
Just recently, I managed to talk him into coming and hanging out in the pits at Sons of Speed, and he goes, "You had no business bringing me here." So I think we got him on board for Sons of Speed.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm hooked for sure. So the Sons of Speed is a really, really cool event, and the other thing is, hey man, some of these guys, they're riding, boy. I'm telling you, it was a super, super cool event. It didn't take me long. We went the day before to the practice run, and I knew right then, I'm like, oh, man, I'm going to want to do this. This looks like so much fun, So, yeah, that's a really cool event.
I have to admit, Tom, I was quite surprised, knowing you and knowing how you like to ride, that you hadn't done it before.
Right.
Like, that was very surprising to me.
Well, I still think it's more of a relatively new event. And, for me, I used to do a road trip every year, maybe 8,000 miles or 6,000 miles out west, and then when I got in the Cannonball, I just kind of started to do that. So, my whole love has gone completely towards the antique world now. So I could see me doing all of it. So much fun. I bought that out there so I don't have to spend so much money with Lonnie anymore. That way I bought that company. I could blow this shit up and bust it up and tear stuff up, and I just go right back to the counter and get it from my stock.
Well, let's talk about that, because that's everyone, I think we're safe saying, is breathing a huge sigh of relief to find out that competition distribution is not going anywhere, and you obviously are the man I'm talking about that scored a deal with Lonnie, and you're going to be moving that company to Western Pennsylvania, and you have you're going to carry on the traditions and the quality and everything, but you actually have a new page that you're putting together for it too.
That's correct. And first and foremost, I really want to thank Lonnie and Mary Ann for considering to even sell me the company. We just felt so strong, and it really happened fast for me. I think I got a call from Rob Nussbaum, who was saying, brought it to my attention that it was happening, and it wasn't more than like a week later I was on a plane, and I think once we kind of went through with Lonnie, we went out to dinner and all, with everything going on in the antique motorcycle world, it just seemed like an absolute natural thing for us to go ahead and go forward with. It blends two things I really love. I love antique motorcycles, and I'm a business entrepreneur at heart. So it really is right up my alley. I'm really excited. But let me say this: I wouldn't have bought the company if I didn't have my brother George, and more important than that, Sean Jackson. Okay, Sean's going to be the operation guy. He's going to run the company. For you guys that don't know Sean, he's a young man. He's an FXR guy. He completed the FXR challenge. He won the Paris Paint Show. He's one of the 10 guys that's going to the FXR build-off next year. It was invited. Man's only 33 years old. He's an incredible young guy, but he loves the antique stuff too. So it's a perfect match for everything what we're trying to achieve.
Oh, that was something I was going to say to you, man. Like, getting to know you over the last couple of years here, like I wonder, I'm like, this cat already has a handful of businesses that he's responsible for, and you know, day to day running all of this stuff. That it's a pretty tall order, because that's not a business without details and logistics, and you know, to hear that you have some good people around you, because obviously, you know, we spent some time at Sons of Speed with Sean, and he is solid. So it's good that you're going to have that kind of support for this.
Well, you know, in any business endeavor, you're only going to be as good as the people you surround yourself with. You know, I like to put people around me that are smarter than me. You know, it makes my job a lot easier. But, you know, I really do love business, and you know, I really do love antique motorcycles. So this seemed, you know, it just seemed like such an easy decision for me to make, especially after sitting down with Lonnie and, you know, going over the business side of things.
Hey, I have to break in for just a second, because while we're sitting here talking, I'm watching the comments go by, and you know, a bunch of people. Rob Doer is on here. Jason Sims says, glad the legacy will continue. Don Gilmore, hey guys, Don Gilmore, Chase number 22, Pittsburgh, PA is here. That's his standard post every time he comes on. Dan Toast is in the house, which brings up, you were talking about like the excitement on the track. I don't think there was a better race than Toast's guy and eBay Jake. I don't think I've seen racing like that for such a long time.
Man, they was battling. Okay, the kid, that's the kid that was on the black bike.
Yep.
Yeah,
it was racing Jake.
Joe Arsini.
They went at it like 3 times in a row, right? 2 heats, or my goodness gracious. And eBay Jake just would seem like he just caught him at the end in a couple of the times, you know. Both of them guys, man, that was fun to watch. Hey, listen, I'm not in that league right there. I can promise you that.
Well, and it was neat too, because, you know, I've even said this straight to Billy. Like when we first heard about Sons of Speed, and I was excited, but you know, in my mind, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, okay, I'm thinking about like early teens motorcycles and on this giant asphalt track, and I'm thinking, you know, they're going to be going around like once every 5 minutes. Like, how exciting is this going to be? And I promise you have not seen this race. Nothing could be further from the truth, especially like in the hot classes, in the hot 61s and the hot 45s, man. It's nuts. And these two especially, they were actually working race strategy.
Oh, they were going at it.
You know, like picking lines, stealing each other's lines, forcing each other down from the wall. Like it was such incredible racing.
Totally badass. I'm hooked, man. The Sons of Speed is just a really cool event. You know, it's just amazing. I actually want to get on a single. You know, I want to hop up single and see how fast. You know, I want to see if I can hold a WFO all the way around the track. You want to go put your foot in Tom Kiefer's ass. I know what's up. I love Tom Kiefer. I think I'm too scared of them really fast ones. You know, I better just start out on a single and see what I can do there.
Wait a minute. We've ridden next to you.
Yeah.
That's bull. Like that's a load of bull if I ever heard one. Come on.
Right.
Well, that chase bike was hopped up. You know, Silvio hopped that motor up a little bit, so that one, you know, you had to air it out a little bit. It was a fun bike.
A little bit, please.
You know, the cool part about all that is, for the people that have never seen those races, that not only these guys racing antique bikes, but like the Cannonball and, you know, the Chase, all that stuff. And these are expensive motorcycles, and these guys are so enthusiastic, and they go out there serious. They mean business when they ride. So you got to go watch these guys. Find some way to get able to visualize some of these races, because it's definitely worth it.
And not only that, but if you get to go, like in March, they're doing it under the lights on the first Saturday, I believe, which is great because it's not, you're not going to melt. But you have to get a pit pass because the vibe, there's nothing like the vibe in those pits. People are, and as a matter of fact, eBay Jake wouldn't have been able to win that race if somebody hadn't loaned him a part to fix his motorcycle. And that's what they do. They go up and down the pits. Do you have this tool? Do you have this part? Like, it was such...
not since Bonneville have I seen the kind of camaraderie and family that's part of an event like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was incredible. The camaraderie and the sportsmanship.
I I think with all of this, it's so young and that it's, that's what's helping this grow is the camaraderie that's going on inside those pits.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that I really liked too is you had Dan Tose's nephew Joe, who looked like a relatively young man, riding out there, and then you had, it just spanned the ages, because you had some guys. I think the oldest rider out there was in his 70s this year.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of the riders that were there, we had a few comments, but one is specifically David Morrell says, glad to hear he's continuing comp dist. Great folks that have supplied my SOS racing for years. Rob Doe reminds us that Joe on the number 9 was the guy that we were talking about. Steve Burrows is in the house with us. Dan Toast. Steve is wrenching on half the bikes there too. Absolutely. And has been. And that was, where Sunday for me, Tom, was going down early, and like in those first couple Sons of Speeds that everybody was in Billy's garage, and literally for days around the clock they were building bikes and getting shit ready, and like it was such a magical time. And I was just like, I didn't have the heart to say, hey man, can I video in here, because I knew that it was one of those happenings, but it's also a shame that it wasn't documented for the historical fact,
No, it is super cool. I'll see it all growing. I see the Cannonball growing, I see the Chase growing, I see the Trog growing, and I see the Sons of Speed growing. And the thing about them races, it's different from, say, the antique, just the plain antique bikes where we restore antique bikes. For the most part, we don't take those antique bikes out and beat them and race them around. Oh, we might take them to a swap meet and start them up and ride them, or we even may ride them at a local event or what have you. But the races, man, we're really putting stress on those bikes. So those parts are really important, and I just see those events, and there's events that are growing too. We also have all the AMCA road runs. So, we're really riding more antique bikes now than what we have in the past. At least that's how it seems to me.
Well, let's talk about your role now as competition distribution and what's going to be required there, because this isn't just as simple as, you have parts numbers from companies that you're ordering stuff from. I mean, this is real deal, like, taking care of this segment of the motorcycle community and a level of standard that you have to keep up to.
Listen, without a question, it's a major challenge. So, the first thing for us is actually next week, we're going out and we're moving it back east. We're going out Tuesday, and by Saturday we hope to have the company back east, and maybe set up within a week after that in terms of being up and running on the internet. But what you have is pretty much 100% internet sales, and you've got to put them out each and every morning. And sometimes guys ship overnight. I know I used to get them shipped overnight from Lonnie. So you have that type of stuff. So you really got to be on the ball with. Have to get our UPS number up and our FedEx number, and just be prepared to go after it. What we really want to do is we want to take a look at everything that Lonnie was doing, and first of all, that's the first thing, is we want to step back and look at everything Lonnie was doing, and then what we would like to do is we'd like to stay within that 1910 to 1936 field, but expand on it. We think that there's other things that we can do, including early cylinders. That's something that we really need, or early cylinders. No one's really repopping like the 10s, the 11s, and the 12s.
Yeah.
We feel like we can do some of that stuff. It might take us some time to get up to speed to do it, but we want to expand on what Lonnie was doing. We feel like having Sean with young blood is what it really needs. Is it needs someone that wants to, really have that energy to drive it forward. And, that's where it's going to head. And I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to put it out there right now. At some point, Sean's going to be a part owner of the company, so there's a lot of incentive for Sean to help, to really help take it forward. And you guys that know my brother George, George is one of them engineer type minds. He's always thinking outside the box, and he's an MMI grad. So I really feel like, and with our connection to the antique motorcycle world, which, we're all really tight with that world, we want to hear from the antique. We want to know what we're doing wrong. We want to know what we're doing right. We want to know what we can improve. We want to know what's missing. The one thing about that particular marketplace, certain people make certain things, and that's it. There's not it's not like the knuckleheads and the panheads where there's higher demand, so there is certain things that certain people make. And obviously we're going to look at any voids in that marketplace. And at some point in time, we'll see how it goes with the companies that are in our field, maybe down the road, hey, anything's possible. We want to become a full service company from 1910 to 1936.
Oh, and that anybody that knows you knows that you're a man of action, and if something's worth doing, you're gonna put the right effort into it. Yeah,
absolutely. So I want to back up to a couple of little questions and comments here. Number one, Cole Deaster, he may have a blanked off twin 27 JD for your single Sons of Speed bike. He'll get with you this week. And then Mike Draco was asking about the motor that you took off the floor at Wheels Through Time. And Sean is actually watching. If I had a little more foresight, I would have had Sean join you tonight. I apologize for that. But Sean chimed in with that you guys borrowed the jug off of it for his 13 Cannonball bike. It was an original motor that Matt was kind enough to let you guys take apart. Are you serious?
We're dogs, aren't we?
Wow.
Hey, so this was like one of the highlights of the Cannonball, for real. Here's why. The day that we took the motor, it was in the middle of the museum, and the museum was pretty packed. Okay,
dude, I heard about this. You're nuts.
Listen, we just grabbed, and of course we wanted none of without Matt giving us the okay ahead of time. So, but we acted like we were just Bogarted. We did. We just went back. We took it off the shelf. Sean bear hugged it. I videoed it. We took it out. We Bogarted the cylinder off it. We put it on our bike, and hey man, down the road you go. But I actually have the cylinder in the truck now, and I got a motor off of Billy Lane down in Tennessee. A single motor. After the Sons of Speed, so I need to go down there and get that motor. In the meantime, I need to drop that cylinder off for Matt. So yeah, we did hijack a motor right out of the Wheels Through Time Museum, and that hey man, that was pretty darn cool.
Mark, I don't know how much you kept up with Tom's story through the Cannonball this year, but dude, it was harrowing. I mean,
it was honestly the greatest story, though. It was. Yay! Oh, yay! Oh.
Listen, it was. So we're, except for the exception of my wife, who's not originally from Pittsburgh, we're all Pittsburgh guys, so I can say this. It's like watching Pittsburgh Steelers play football. You know what I mean? Like, you come in rooting your ass off. You don't know where it's going to go. Halfway through the thing, you're disgusted. You're throwing shit at the TV. Crazy times.
The greatest thing about it, Tom, watching your story, was your determination and perseverance and your amazingly positive attitude. Like, I looked forward to that every day on the Cannonball.
Well, here's the thing, all kidding aside, any of us that can take 3 weeks out of our life, and in my case, have a whole team, four bikes and 4 riders, we going across the country for 3 weeks having a total blast. We're absolutely blessed to be in that position to begin with, Yeah. So, yep, I made the choice to ride a single, and I didn't vet the single enough. And, I got my ass kicked up and down America. But at the end of the day, I did ride a lot of miles on it, and I did ride across the finish line, and I never quit, and my team never quit, and we just kept rumbling. And, it's a heavyweight battle. Sometimes you get knocked down, but you got to get back up. And as long as I have moves, I'm always going to keep, I'm always going to give it my best. At some point in time, you might run out of moves. You might not have another cylinder. Your cases might be shattered where you can't put it back together, but we still had moves, and we kept battling. Myself, Georgia, and Sean, and Jody, the 4 of us. We rumbled pretty hard.
Yeah, buddy.
It was such a great adventure.
So Jason Sims is already putting up in a post here. He said he has a long list of stuff. So you can expect an email from Jason, or a phone call, or a text, or something, because he's ready to clue you.
Well, and that's the other thing too. Sean, George, myself. Obviously we're going to sit down and have a lot of conversation, but I think we want to really service those events. Maybe we can sit down with with Jason and Billy and those guys and set up different type of vending that we can do for the events.
A run truck, yeah,
that'd be awesome.
I don't know where we're at, how exactly we can do it, but I just think that those events to us are really important. I know myself, and I wasn't joking before. I had to buy the company because of the amount of money I was spending, with the Chase and the Cannonball. It's actually cheaper for me just buy the company. To hell with it.
Wow.
Well, and I had told you, all joking aside, when we were in the pits at Sons of Speed, and you said you had no business bringing me down or inviting me down here, and I said, dude, like honestly, Sons of Speed, and whether it's Sons of Speed or Race a Gentleman or the Cannonball or the Chase, they need guys like you. They need guys like you that, like, that's, you're obsessed with getting to the event and making the event and challenging yourself and challenging other people. There needs to be people like Tom Banks in these things. If those things are so important for motorcycling in general, because even the young guys, like you said, Sean is, FXR guy, he's the FXR Challenge, and now he's going into this whole other chapter of this stuff with you. But even to keep those young guys that are in this excited about what's going on, it's got to be full of energy. You know what I mean? We can't just, we're out doing this and we're out here again. It's got to have that excitement.
It's a total blast for me, guys, because all those events and just being around the antique motorcycles, it's my total passion. I totally love it. Every time I'm around, I always say there's no crying in baseball, and I mean that. Hey, you're blessed to have the opportunity to do this. You're blessed to ride these old bikes and go down the road. And they are going to break down from time to time, especially if you run them like I do in the Chase. I mean, hey, sometimes you beat the hell out of them, and it's but you rebuild them and go down the road, do the best you can.
If it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
That's absolutely right. That's exactly how it works. If it was easy, everybody would do it. I say that when I get my ass knocked around in business, and I do get my ass kicked in business from time to time. It goes with the territory. But I say, hey man, if it was easy, everybody would do it. You just gotta take your lumps and live to fight another day.
Yeah, yes, sir. Well, where can people look? I mean, you said you're going out this week to start the caravan of parts and everything coming back for the business, and where can people keep up to you minute by minute so they know what's going on?
Well, what we'll do is, we're going to be talking on social media as soon as we have a time frame for when we're up and running. We're going to just be pounding that on social media, because we know that we don't want the company to be stagnant. We want the company to get going right back up and going forward again. Especially this time of the year, a lot of the guys are rebuilding now. This is the winter months where those events don't start again till March. So it's important to get it back up and running just as soon as we can. And I don't see that as being more than a couple weeks out.
Right on.
All next week it's going to take us to get everything back east, and we have U-Hauls lined up, and we're actually all going out in the Chase truck with a trailer with pallets and pallet jacks, and we're going to bring shelving back, and it's going to be a little battle.
That's exciting, though.
Yep.
It is. It's fun. So I've always built companies. Banks Gas I built. My commercial real estate company. I built that from scratch. Banks Brothers we built. So this is a different endeavor for me in that I bought an existing company. This company's been in business 52 years. So this is a different take for me, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what I can do with it. Hopefully, I can improve it. Lonnie was doing a lot of wonderful things, and hopefully we can take it another step forward.
Absolutely. So you guys, you still have the existing competition distribution website. We're going to throw a link up for that. You have the Facebook page from Competition Distributing.
So really, what we have from Competition Distributing is everything but the company name. Okay, we have the name Competition Distributing, but we didn't buy the corporation. Okay, and that's simple. The corporation was an Inc. out of Texas. We're going to be an LLC out of Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
And I have attorneys and accountants that do everything, with my companies, help me set stuff up and go forward. So obviously I had plenty of discussion with those folks before we make those kind of decisions. But we will run under the competition distributing name. But we actually didn't buy Lonnie's corporation, which is just a corporation. It's not, we put it right into a LLC.
Very cool.
Pretty exciting. And like I told you guys, if you're not familiar with the other thing that we came in on with Tom, the Banks Brothers motorcycle lift, engine lift, man,
coolest tool
it's
ever.
Still if I could vote for this thing for shop tool every year, I would.
Hey guys, here I'm gonna say something about this too. We also saw this as being really, really something that's going to help us take the engine puller forward. Part of the problem with the engine puller is really simple. When George and I had it manufactured in the first round, we had X amount of engine builders manufactured. Our break point was too high. What we're selling our pullers for is too high of a number. We're going to bring our engine pullers into competition, and we're gonna use our manufacturers that we already have. And we're gonna get a much better break point on our
Dude,
engine.
so many people will be excited about that.
So trust me, that's right there in the back of our mind, and we're gonna be pounding George to come up with hands for the singles, and to do the motors that we're doing from 1910 through 1936. Nice. Not just that thing's doing pan heads and knuckle heads and Evos and so on. We want to be able to go backwards and make sure that we can pull, the early twins too. So that's stuff that we'll be talking about with George. But we absolutely plan on bringing the engine puller into the competition distributing line, along with, we're going to do a clothing line also, probably with Banks Brothers and competition. So, we're going to have a lot of fun with it.
There's something I got to say about that, though, and I'm sure Mark will back me up on this. I think the money that the Banks engine lift is, I liken that whole thing to, before I had a handy lift in my shop, and I was always like, oh, they're too expensive, and you deal with any shit that you can to work off of the ground, wooden benches and shit that we built, and like get your first handy lift. And now I have 3 of them. Mark has 2 or 3 of them, and like, I would never have a shop again without it. And I mean, I think that's the same thing with your engine puller. I would never do that work again without that. So I think the original investment, it might be high for some people. Go ahead, Mark. Do we lose Mark?
Now that you're getting older, you can't bend over. You can't pick up as much. You know what I mean? So this is also saving you to keep doing. Well, that wasn't a joke. I mean, that's serious.
No, I know.
I mean, when we're getting to this age now, I mean, to work on the ground now for that engine lift. I mean, in all reality, how many hundreds of motors have we pulled out and put it in our lives? Now it's so much easier. It makes it easier not only on us, but it keeps us working.
And every trick from pool noodles on the freshly painted frame paint. And stacking the motor with used copies of the magazine or leftover copies of the magazine and doing the frame sideways and every shit that we could come up with. And like,
you don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, and God forbid you drop a motor, because we've done that.
Here's the thing for me, guys. I have to really look at it from a pure business standpoint. And I just think that when we bring it into the competition line and we can, get it manufactured at a cheaper number, still an American manufacturer, I think that our break point's going to be better and we'll have a better opportunity to sell them. At the end of the day, my job is to try to take us forward, and sell as much of that product as we can without, cutting on the quality of the product.
Oh, listen, I agree with you. I think there's a whole customer base waiting for you, even if it's a couple $100 difference. I think there's a whole customer base that opens up to. Absolutely.
Nope, and we agree. We get that. We're not naive about it.
All right, man. Well, listen, I'm going to cut you loose. Thank you so much for coming on here tonight, and I look forward to many, many more times that we can have you come on for anything that you need to talk about to get information out about competition and what's going on, getting ready for Sons of Speed, because everybody, Toast and Stevenson, are all cheering you on that they expect to see you in March. So
somebody else offered you a frame on here. You may want to scroll back through the comments.
I'm believe me, I want in the Sons of Speed. I'm hoping I can get in. I'm hoping I can get in March. I want in. There's no doubt about it. It's so much fun. I want to take G-Man down there
Oh,
he'll
yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
G-Man will love it.
Dude.
You know, we can bust shit up and let George fix it.
Poor George.
All right, man. Well, listen, you take care of yourself. Thanks for being here with us here tonight, and good luck on the trip going to get all this stuff and with this new venture.
Hey, guys, thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it as always. You know, and, have a great night and stay safe out there.
All
Thanks,
right, buddy.
Tom.
Later on.
All right, peace out.
See you, Tom.
I love this stuff we do.
Oh, so
I
good.
love it.
I can't, like, if we ever decide to go home again, which hopefully it's long after the snow has gone, we have to get to his clubhouse and film with him.
Yeah.
His collection.
Talk about,
good God.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the next, like when we do get back to Pittsburgh, that's one of the next ones that we have to do. Like, just like we talked about Steve Klein today, we will be shooting there. We'll probably be shooting at Tom's for 2 days to get through some of that.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
His enthusiasm makes up for
Right?
everything. His
Yep.
attitude, his enthusiasm, he's just the kind of guy you want to be around. He's fun to be around.
He really is.
And Mark, listen, I'm telling you something else. Like when you're out on the road with him behind the bars, he's a fucking nutball. He is. He rides like us, dude. He rides hard, and the harder he rides, the bigger his smile gets.
So in his Flickr folder, which the conversation was so good we didn't quite get to tonight, I think there's like 4 or 5 pictures of him pulled over
Yeah.
by the cops because it doesn't matter what he's on.
I ran into him in Daytona. They had him and 3 other riders, him, Jody, and Sean, all pulled over in Daytona. Yeah. Look at that face. He's ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
That was the bike he was racing. This bike here, this is the bike he was racing me on. I was on an Ultra Classic. A modern.
With me on the back, sitting backwards, holding a video camera. And they're going like 90 miles an hour through the Ozarks. I'm like, today is the day I'm going to die.
There's another police picture. There's the one from Daytona. I took this picture. I pulled up and he was like, really? Really? Of course you're here.
Of course.
Oh, shit. All right, man. What do you got from social media?
Worth it.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Basically, everybody loves Tom.
Yep.
Like, seriously, that's the general consensus. Everybody loves Tom's Banks. It's hard not to. It really is. I think he's still listening. Let me see. I think David Morrill said he's got a frame for the Billy he's got a Keystone Harley roller that will take the motor you got from Billy, Tom, if you can still hear me.
Oh yeah.
Kiefer's here, a little late to the party, Tom, but thanks for showing up.
So let's go to events while I got you on track.
Okay.
What do you got for us? Did we ever find the stuff from Cycle Showcase? We're gonna have to. We're gonna have to manually.
Yeah, because we don't have our Drobo. So next event that I
love that show.
Fully aware of is Mama Tried the weekend of December 4th in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Always a good time, great show. We will have some people there covering it. What else we got? I'm gonna look over. Ooh, CF Wheels Central Florida Wheels of Steel at the RP Funding Center in Lakeland, Florida.
Now brought to you through the courtesy of the High Seas Rally.
Ooh.
I just want to put that out there.
I love that. High Seas Rally, Wheels of Steel. There's some great builders that are going to be on hand. And Warren Lane and
Fast
Freddy are going to have some of their Sons of Speed bikes on display as well. But
Freddie, there's another one. This year's top guest, like he was fantastic on the show.
I think I have to agree with you.
Yeah.
I have to agree. But who are some of the builders? Let's see. We've got Joker Cycles, Freak Show Fab, Curtis Hoffman Designs. You made it.
I know, but I can't read that.
Bill Dodge from Bling Cycles, Eric from FNA, It'll
Bray,
Ride Choppers, Rick Bray, Xavier Muriel,
John Lefevre, Nick Pensabene, Dan Starkey, Jared Weems. Yeah, good stuff.
Sounds like a party.
Walter Coro says next Sunday, Jam On Productions. Where at?
Where, Walter?
Blue Collar Build-Off Finals at the Saddle Sword Ranch, April 28th through May 30th. Hey, listen, guys, if you want to have your event constantly gone through while we're at the end of our show, we're happy to post anybody's events here.
Send me a flyer.
And on the CycleSource website, the CycleSource news blog at cyclesource.com. Just send that stuff in and we'll get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe we even have Mark read the events once in a while.
Ooh. Mark can read?
Can't read.
Come on.
Oh, so after that, we don't have a flyer for it, basically, because we suck. Cycle Showcase in St. Louis. That's the weekend of February 12th. Always a phenomenal show. I love Big Randy. He does a great time. And I think even though it's in February, Cycle Source Media is going to be sponsoring an ice cream social. Because it's never too cold for ice cream.
Have ice cream when Randy's around.
You can eat ice cream inside. What's wrong?
Yep. So we're going to have an ice cream social, some killer motorcycles. Jam On Productions is at the Harrisburg Farm Show Complex. Oh, Tom Kiefer will be there.
There you go. One big one.
You missed the Donnie Smith show.
No,
I thought we were going in chronological order.
I didn't miss it. You did.
Well, I can't see it. It's not on my screen.
Order? Wow.
Loser.
Yeah, Mark. Donnie Smith Show, March 25th and 26th.
How about 26th and 27th?
Oh, 26th and 27th, St. Paul, Minnesota. Always a great time, I think.
Ball and spits around.
Yeah, it's sometime in March. No, I'm sorry,
Wow.
Donnie Smith. March 26th and 27th. I'm sorry,
Neil.
It's out of hand. I will say, though, it is one of the greatest indoor shows, and I think almost every indoor show should emulate this. It's tattoos, it's cars, it's cool bikes, and just a great time. So we'll be there. Torque will be there. Come visit.
Now do we get to go to the big one?
Dun, dun, dun. Smoke out. Oh. Smoke out. Sorry.
Really? That
no,
was it?
I saw a butterfly. Smoke out 9th and 10th and the Rowan County Fairgrounds, taking it back to Salisbury. Let's see, I think the Black Smoke Sinners are going to play.
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Black Smoke Sinners were working on trying to get Stone Senate.
Yeah, it's going to be a good lineup. We've got the Tankful, the Legacy Invitational, World's Strongest Biker. I mean, all sorts of good stuff's going to be going on. If you want more information on that, please go visit smokeoutrally.com.
And that's it.
That's it.
That's it. We're cruising into...
oh, no, Walter's in the hospital. Walter, we hope you're okay. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Bad days never, Fast Freddy Bowledge forever. Get you some of that Kenny Hot Rod right on, man. What about Daytona Bike Week 2022?
I don't know the dates off my head. I just know it's going to happen and we'll be there. So
absolutely.
It's going to be awesome.
Mark, what's your next event?
A nap.
Work tomorrow. It's going to be my next event. I don't know, but I'm telling you, it's coming. You're
bringing your ass to Daytona so you can come to these races with us. I don't care what else happens.
I want to come. I missed Sons of Speed this year. I'll tell you what. Cycle Showcase.
Yeah.
Randy shows he's one of my favorite people.
Road trip.
Definitely. Just to go see. You know what I like most about that is it's a unique setting. Just everybody's so laid back and. Ice cream.
Yeah.
Did I say ice cream?
I like ice cream.
Dude, in Sturgis this year, he literally found like an ice cream boutique that he held a little party in. It was badass.
Yeah, he's definitely Randy's a people person, that's for sure.
So Walter Curo had a pacemaker. Walter, we're sending you some super healing vibes, and we hope you get better fast and can make it to Harrisburg next week.
Hey, so listen, I want to remind all you guys, Shop Talk goes live every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern. You can be involved. You can get involved. You can send your events in. You can make comments throughout the show. This is a community kind of deal, man. So don't just sit there and be an observer. Make sure your friends and neighbors know when we go live. Hit the like and share button. Help us pass this along. Want to send a big shout out to Dennis Kirk, obviously our studio sponsor, but they also carry the feed. Anyone that's interested in helping us cobble together this network that we have. We're going out to about 15 or so
share
different social media sites like the Broken Spoke and the Iron Horse and Dennis Kirk. Anyone that's interested in that, get a hold of us in the office. We can get you hooked up so that every Sunday as we bring out the news and the rest of the stuff we got, the 90 to 120 minutes of all the bullshit we can fit, you can get hooked up too. Dan Starkey, Indiana, what's up, buddy?
Dan's going to be at Wheels of Steel.
That's right.
You going to bring Black Diamond, Dan? Black Diamond Dan.
Buddy.
Diamond Dan.
All right. Blue Collar Build Off said you guys should team up with Mark.
No.
And compete in the Blue Collar Build Off. I like that.
No.
I like building motorcycles.
Well, if you do that, you can't build your
Yeah.
anniversary bike.
Yeah, you can. Hey,
You
we've
know-
done more than 2 in a year.
Right?
Budget.
That's my boy. All right, man. Well, listen, thank you guys so much for sharing your Sunday evening with us, your headspace, and some of the available time at the end of the week. Hope you guys all have a killer week this week, and we'll see you next Sunday. Same chopper time.
Same chopper channel.
Bye, Felicia.
You know you were half out of the frame, Heather. I'm just saying.
Loser.